Hi there, welcome to Bayside Church Online and a very happy new year to you. We're going to kick off this new year by having a bit of a discussion, some of the ministry leaders at Bayside. So I've got Caleb here, who's our youth leader. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Got Rayma, who's our kids leader at Bayside Church.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, and don't get all shy on me now, you guys. And Emma, of course, who's not going to be shy.
No, I'm not.
No. And you're the ministry leader of lots of different things, aren't you?
Yeah. Prayer, let's say integration and engagement, because
Beautiful.
that's kind of where we're going to go.
No, I like that. That's very cool. So we're going to have a little bit of a discussion today about some of the things that we are looking forward to individually, personally, as well as for the church. And so let's start with how you approach 2025. I want you to give one word and then why that is your word. Caleb, let's start with you.
Yeah, my word would be expectancy. I think in 2024 we saw God lay a strong foundation like in our ministry, and I just think He's got some big things in store for us in 2025, and I think He's going to continue building on that foundation.
I love that.
2024.
So you're feeling expectant. Bayside Youth is going really well. It's solid and expectant. I love that.
Yeah.
That really resonates with me. What about you, Rayma?
Yeah, I think my dominant word would be excitement. I'm just really excited.
Cool.
Only because Bayside Kids will be doing a lot of really cool things this coming year. So I'm really
Can you
excited.
give us a little taste, like just
Yeah.
one or two
One or
exciting
two.
things?
Yeah, we're coming up with trading cards. So Bayside Kids, we are creating biblical action figures, and we're going to be trading them. So
That's great.
Yeah, I
The
know.
kids will love that.
I know.
Yeah.
You're just
So
like Pokemon cards, but only from Bayside Church.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
So like action figures.
Action figures, like biblical action
like
figures.
Samson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus as a demon slayer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's so
It's going to be
cool.
so sick. Yeah.
I can see Caleb sitting there with tick, 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 tick. This will work in youth as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
That's,
Awesome.
that's very cool. What about you, Emma?
My one word is quite difficult for me.
We know.
Anticipating.
Okay.
Yeah, I am ready. I'm eager for this year. I think that God has done some great things in 2024, but this year I think I'm just really looking forward to the momentum continuing and growing, because that's what momentum does, right? It doesn't stay the same, it grows.
Yeah.
So anticipating.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. My word is hopeful.
Great.
And I've got a lot to hope for, I think, like on a personal front. I'm hoping that the treatment that Christy is on for her health challenges really kick in and start to make a difference. And then my three daughters, Georgia Grace is going to be finishing her double degree
So
this
exciting.
year, which is really exciting. She's been training in forensic psychology. So by the end of this year, she's going to be fully qualified, which is really
So
cool.
exciting.
Paris is venturing into some new territory with her career. And then I've got a high schooler as well. So Trinity's doing VCE. So, and for the church, I just so hopeful and very similar to yourself, Caleb. I think, like we've come through, as all the churches have, particularly here in Victoria, we've come through some difficult times with basically 2 years of lockdown.
Yeah.
On average, about a third of churches have just literally, the congregations have disengaged.
Yeah.
And so we felt like we were re-pioneering a church in 22, 23.
Yeah.
And so as a church, I feel like we've recovered well. We've transitioned our church with the inclusion statement. And I think what we have today is a kinder community, a very unified church. And so I'm feeling really hopeful
Yeah.
Exciting.
for the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So excited would be another
Yeah.
word. What dream has God placed on your heart for your personal life and also for your ministry areas in 2025? So let's reverse
Yeah.
and go to you, Em.
So I guess personally, it's a really interesting question, because there's been a lot of times where especially over the last few years where I've felt doors close. We moved house in 2023. We had some people who were dear to us, and my favourite little pet died, and so we had a lot of closed doors. And I feel like 2024 was a consolidating year for us. And I guess I'm actually really excited for God to bring new breath to the dreams and desires of my heart, really.
Beautiful.
Because I guess there's things obviously that we always hope for, but I'm kind of like, God, I'm open. I'm ready for a new thing. I'm ready for the new dream, I guess, the thing that I can actually hold on to in this next season and run with. In terms of ministry, though, I'm super excited because there's been, we've started a Get Connected team, which I'm excited about, and we've really seen God connect people in through personal contact. So I'm really excited about that. And so engagement kind of sums up all of the areas that I'm involved in. I want to see people engaged with all of the events that we run. Easter is the next big one, and then we've got the trivia night, and then we've got carols again next year. And so there's this year, I should say. So it seems like so long away.
Yeah.
We've just had carols.
I know, it does, doesn't it? Gotta get your head into it in space.
That's right. So engagement is the thing that I'm really looking forward to and what I'm really dreaming for this year.
Beautiful.
Prayer engagement, I've crafted a prayer calendar for our church and for those in our community to join and connect in terms of unity and pray for one thing every day.
Yeah.
So we started that in 2024.
And people can find that online?
Yes,
on
absolutely.
the Bayside Church website?
Yes, absolutely. So engagement.
Yeah.
That's the thing for me. I'm
Beautiful.
really
That's
looking
good,
forward to that.
I love it. What about you, Rayma?
Yeah, honestly, it's a big question, isn't it? Like,
It is.
It's really hard to narrow that down. But if I were to really think about it in ministry aspect, specifically, I think with Bayside Kids, I dream that for next year, for this year, sorry, we're in 2025. I forget, guys. We're in 2025.
Clicked over.
I know, sorry, my bad. No, but honestly, I dream to create a bigger space where our volunteers and leaders can walk in and bring in more creative ideas.
Great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and with our kids too, specifically, I want to create a space where they feel more valued. And I was thinking about this question the other day, and I thought of how Bayside Church in general and the adults in Bayside Church, we all know of our what's the word? Our vision statement,
Yep.
which is courageous love, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To courageously love
Love.
and empower people
Yeah.
to become like Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But I really want to translate that tone with the kids. So I want the kids to walk in and know that this is the tone of our church and this is what they're learning here in this church. Because I strongly believe the future of our church is our kids. So it's good to start now, good to bring in those ideas and values.
Yeah.
So when they grow up to be adults like us, the future of our church is in good hands.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my biggest dream for this church this coming year. Personally, I think that would translate into my personal life where it's going to look like connection. I'm looking for connections this year where I connect with leaders, volunteers, make really good relationships, and continue to lead Kidsmen.
Way to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Music to my ears.
Music
That's
to your
great.
ears, Pastor Rob.
And
Yeah.
I've watched you and I've watched people interact with you,
Yeah.
and people really warm to you,
Yeah.
which is lovely. So
That's
you know,
so nice.
you are
You're
the
pretty cool.
right
a really
person,
nice compliment.
right
What the heck?
place. Absolutely.
Thank you, Pastor.
Yeah, no worries. I think about, even last year when you got up on the platform and talked about kids ministry,
Yeah.
and then people came forward and wanted to volunteer.
Yeah.
And that's because they connected with you as a person. And so cheering you on, kid.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. Caleb, what about you? What dream has God placed on your heart for your personal and ministry area in 2025?
Yes, I think a dream or goal of mine for this year that God's put on my heart is just to do a better job reflecting Jesus in all that I do. I think it's something that a lot of people can struggle with. I think it's easy to come to church and, you know, and work here, or, you know, do what I do in youth ministry. And it's so easy to reflect God in this environment and around these people. But I think, you know, out in public, especially when we're with non-Christian people, friends, like I have another job as well as this. So being in that environment, just doing a better job reflecting Jesus in all that I do. That other job at home with my family, friends, when I'm playing soccer, that's probably the hardest one.
Right, yes.
And when you're on the soccer field, you cross that white line.
Yeah.
Just, better reflecting him in all that I do, I think is
Way to go.
a goal for me next year. And for our ministry, I just want us to continue building on the community and culture that's been set this year. I think we've really set an amazing community and culture, but not just to keep that community and culture growing, but to see that as a community and culture that these teens don't just come and experience on a Friday night, but they take it out with them every other day of the week. And it's not just a Friday night thing. And they stand firm in their faith and share God's love with all of the people around them, not just on a Friday night. And just another one is just to see some of our teens start to step up a bit more in leadership, whether that be, you know, some junior leaders stepping up and helping us out, whether it be running games or whatever it may be, just to see some of them really step into some leadership positions.
I love it.
You've got
Sorry, you go for it.
I was going to say, you've got some great young kids
we do.
in your group. And I love watching them on a Sunday, and even like I've been in youth last year a little bit, and just seeing how they are connecting with you and Paige, but also with each other, and the growth that's happened in the last 12 months has been phenomenal. And so I want to encourage you. That's amazing. It's really encouraging to see those young ones coming through. And even on the worship team, we've got a couple of kids who've been in youth, and seeing them graduate last year and then continue on in the worship team. It's so exciting. And we love that fresh blood, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, if you've got teenagers and they're free on a Friday night, plug them into Bayside Youth.
Yeah.
When do you start again?
We start the first Friday of February.
Okay, sweet.
Exciting.
Get them along. Wonderful. I mean, from a personal perspective, ministry-wise, what God's really placed on my heart is to investigate the online space more. I've been online for many, many years, blogging, doing Tuesday Night Live, Digging Deeper podcast, but just looking at other things. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine just a few weeks ago, and he suggested some other things. He also recommended a book. Don't ask me the title of the book because it's completely gone from my head. But it's just, you know, so there's so many things that we can do now in that online space. So I want to look at fresh ways of communicating timeless truth and make it more effective.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know,
It's actually something that I know that Rayma's really passionate about too.
really?
Yeah.
Or maybe we need to chat.
Maybe we should.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we should.
You might know, you probably do know a whole lot more about this than I do. So,
No,
you know, being a young person and all.
just being a young person and all. Yeah, I know a lot about that for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
we shall
definitely.
talk further.
Thank you. Yes,
And
absolutely.
personally, for me, it's actually more of the same. I've found myself for a few years in this completely liminal space, and it's continuing to be content in that. So what I mean by that is I've got 3 kids. One is in high school, 2 in uni, and then Christy's unwell, and then also her parents are here. You know, it's almost 5 years ago since they arrived for a 6-week holiday.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
so we're about to celebrate on the 19th of March this year. I'm going to cook another dinner and celebrate the 5th anniversary of their 6-week holiday, which I love the humour of that every year. You
Oh
know.
my God. Yeah.
So they landed here on the 19th of March 2020. The borders shut the next day.
Yeah.
And they couldn't go back for 2 years. And then their health declined and they were told that they couldn't travel. So they're still here. My mother-in-law lives with us. My father-in-law is in a nursing home about 10 minutes away. So just this really interesting kind of liminal space that I find myself in. And it's being comfortable with that and content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not thinking, you know, I want all of this to change or whatever. It's like, no, this is all good.
Yeah.
There's challenges, obviously, but
Yeah.
being content in who God is and what He's doing and what He's up to in our lives.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Do you have a growth area that the congregation can pray into for 2025, Rayma?
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have time? Because I've got a list of things to...
Go for it. Give us the
No,
top, maybe
top one.
2.
Okay, I'll give you 2. I think number 1 would be, obviously, since picking up, I'm really new to this role and still learning a lot of things as a leader. One of the biggest prayer that I could receive is praying over my leadership for sure. And yeah, I'm meaning to take certain risks this year, move out of my comfort zones. So honestly, if the church can pray over those things,
Yeah.
just different leadership abilities that I can bring forward this year, that would
great.
be amazing. Yeah.
Wonderful. Pray for
Yeah.
Rayma on that. What about you,
Thank
Caleb?
you.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same as Roma. Being brand new to this, I'd love some prayer into my growth as a leader.
Great.
I also wrote down some growth that I'd love some prayer into for our ministry as well, and that is just to have some more leaders. So,
Yeah.
like we have an amazing team. If you've met our team, they're incredible. But we have a very small team of there's me and we got 3 or 4 others, and all of them are really busy. So sometimes a bit inconsistent, which is understandable. But as the ministry has been growing, we need more and more leaders to come and support that.
Yeah.
And we want leaders who have a heart for that next generation and really want to play a role in impacting the faith journey of young people, and just it's some people that want to come have a fun time on a Friday night and enjoy spending some time with some young people would be awesome. It's such a rewarding role to have, and I just want to encourage, if there's people listening or watching that are interested in helping out, come speak to Paige or myself or anyone. And
Or they can email you.
that's it. Yeah.
Give us your email address.
cgoby@baysidechurch.com.au.
How do you spell Goby?
GOEBY.
Okay.
G-O-E-B-Y.
G-O-E-B-Y.
That's it.
Right.
Awesome.
So cgoby@baysidechurch.com.au. If you'd like to volunteer on a Friday night as a youth leader,
Yep.
that
Awesome.
sounds good. Wonderful. And we'd be praying for that too. Am.
Look,
Come on now.
I love prayer. It's one of the things. Personally, I don't struggle with it all the time, but balance is often a thing that I strive for in my life. There's lots of things to do and only a certain amount of time to do them in.
Yeah.
And I find myself sometimes finding that I'm really busy at certain points and then not busy at all. And so I want to actually have that balance across all of the areas of my life. My family live interstate and Jimmy's family live in regional Vic in Geelong. So being able to actually say, I'm going to Adelaide for the weekend and not feeling the guilt about not being in church. Not that I feel guilt from staff team. I just want to be here.
I feel you.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to be here.
Yeah.
And I have a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out on what's happening at church.
Because the Sunday that you're away will be that awesome.
I know. And then I'll
Sunday,
be
right?
like, why?
And then we're going to wonder, should Emma go away more often?
Maybe I should. No, my mum would like that.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, just the balance, I guess, for me personally. And from a ministry sense, I really would love prayer for the new people that come to Bayside to really find belonging. When I first came to Bayside in 2008, I moved over from Adelaide. I was praying that God would place me in a church of balance, funnily enough, balance between being in love with God, the Word and the Spirit. And I came to Bayside and Pastor Rob, you preached on the Word and the Spirit, which was amazing.
At your first service.
At the first service I came to, that's what you preached on.
Amazing.
And so I've kind of walked in the door and went, this is home. And I had that sense from the get-go when I first came. And I'm praying that people would experience that same kind of sense of belonging when they come through the doors.
Yes.
I love that we're a welcoming church. I love that we have an inclusion statement that says everyone is welcome, no matter your ability, no matter your ethnicity, no matter your sexuality, you're welcome here. And that
Absolutely.
excites me to my very core because I know that is who we are.
Yep.
The fabric of who we are is that. And And so it doesn't matter who you are, you're welcome here, you belong here. So that's what I'm praying for this year, that
Yeah.
God would reveal that to people when they walk through the door.
Wonderful. I love that prayer, and
Yeah.
we can all join in that prayer
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
can't we?
Yeah.
That's gold. I want to pray for Bayside Church to continue to grow in effectiveness,
Yeah.
love, and unity.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, my prayer is, and I deliberately haven't put numerical growth down there because my feeling is that a healthy body will grow naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you want to join us in prayer for those three things, that'd be great. Effectiveness, love, and unity. And I also love prayer for financial growth for
Yeah.
Bayside Church. I've
Yep.
shared a couple of times last year about where we were at financially, and it was lovely to see our church community respond to that.
Yeah.
We still finished 2024 slightly behind budget, but certainly not as bad as it would have been if I hadn't have shared a couple of times in 24. So I just want to thank everyone, you know, for listening to that and responding as you've been able to. And I would just love to get to the point where it wasn't an issue. So, you know, just praying for that continued financial growth and health for us as a church community would be awesome.
That's
Yeah.
great. I love
Yeah.
it.
Fabulous.
I love the transparency of that, Pastor Rob.
Thank you.
I think it's really important for our church that we see that transparency from us as leaders and across the board. I think
Yep.
it's actually a really beautiful thing. We've all been churches where there's no transparency in regard to that sort of stuff. So I think it's such an important thing for us, for me as a congregation member, as well as
Yep.
someone who's part of the team, actually being able to say, yeah, I partner with you. I'm in there, and I know that our congregation will feel the same way.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, every year we have auditors, independent auditors come in. They've just been here just a few weeks ago, and they'll be working on
Yeah.
another audited statement, and we'll let you know when that comes out. So everything is clear. Everything is transparent.
So
There's
good.
there's nothing hidden. And, yeah, so I'm glad you love that.
Yeah, it's important. I like it.
A deliberate thing. Let's finish this up. What are you looking forward to in 2025? And has the Lord given you a word for 2025? If so, what is it? And if not, what would it be if you could choose a word? So I'm going to start this. That's a very long question.
I think Jimmy wrote these questions.
He did. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell, can't you? Your husband, who's not stuck for a word.
many words.
Yes, lots of words. Anyway, what I'm looking forward to in 2025 is actually doing this book together. All right? Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
Wow.
If you've been part of Bayside for the last few months, at least you will have heard about Fresh. This is my second book. And this is not about shameless self-promotion here, I'd like to add.
No,
Okay,
so
this
good.
is something that I wrote during the pandemic. I published it about a year or so ago, and we launched it at Bayside several months ago. And it's a daily devotional that takes us through the New Testament epistles and the book of Acts and gives the background to what was happening at the time. So why the letters were written, who they were written to, what was going on in the church, what was going on in the world, why each letter had to be written, and how they kind of fit in chronologically to the book of Acts. And so there's a lot of meat in this. And in the promotion of the book, I just want to re-emphasize that all of the proceeds from this book are going to be supporting our Bayside Church plant in Lusaka, Zambia. So I am not profiting from the sale of this book. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I don't want to, profit from something that I'm promoting in our own church community. I just felt
Yeah.
there was a conflict of interest. And secondly, I actually wouldn't feel free to recommend that you buy this if I knew that I was going to be profiting from it. So I just really wanted to get that across.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that as a church, we can do one thing together.
Yeah,
That every week we'll be reading the same chapters from the New Testament.
so good.
That every week, whoever is preaching that weekend will be taking their text from those chapters.
It's exciting.
And so we're kind of all on the same page and we've written out a plan for this for the year, and we literally finished this the Sunday before Bayside Carols.
Hey,
So we
good
finished
job.
this on the last Sunday of November. And of course, we stop down for a couple of things, like there won't be any reading over, say, Palm Sunday, Good Friday, Easter Sunday,
Makes
all of those types of weekends. But for the rest of the time, we're just going to go for it. So that really excites me. So if you haven't got a copy of Fresh by Rob Buckingham, get your copy now. You can go to the homepage of the Bayside Church website, baysidechurch.com.au, and scroll down, and then you'll find a picture of Fresh. You can order one online, or you can buy one after any church service. So we get to do that together, which is really, really cool. And what else I'm excited for is what I'm going to share with you on Vision Sunday, which is the 2nd of February. I'm not, because my word for the year is actually going to be shared with you on Vision Sunday, and the key scripture and everything.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Come on, Pastor
No
Rob.
spoiler
Come
alerts.
on.
No, not one. No, don't
Give us a clue.
tempt me. Don't tempt me.
Fair enough.
So what about you, Caleb?
Yeah, so I'm super excited for 2025. I'm excited to see what God has in store for us, both personally and as a ministry. I'm excited to see how he builds on 2024, and I'm excited to see the growth this year, not necessarily in numbers, but more importantly in faith and connection, just watching the young people deepen their relationship with God and how they step out in their faith and support one another. It's just, I'm sure it's going to be incredibly rewarding to watch and witness. And some events that we have planned for 2025, which is super exciting. So we've got Youth Alive, like we do every year, which the kids all love.
Yeah.
We didn't have one this year, but it's been requested many times. We're going to have a lock-in next year, which I'm sure they'll be excited for. We're going to, our formal in 2024 was a great success, so we're going to do it again in 2025. And the one they've all been waiting for, we're going to have a camp next year for the first time since before COVID. So
Awesome.
yeah, they're going to be excited.
That's
for that.
exciting. What month is the camp, do you know?
It's going to be in October.
October. Cool. Yeah, good time.
Yeah.
Start to warm up again, hopefully. Although, who knows? Melbourne. Could be winter 2.0.
Oh,
You never know.
Yeah. So more details to come of all
Yes.
of those things, I
Yeah,
imagine.
Yep, there'll be more details to come. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And a word for next year, I think my word is next. It might sound a bit strange, but I think this word applies both to me personally, but also to our youth ministry. I feel as though the word represents the excitement and anticipation of what God has in store for us. Because I think God has a path and a journey for every single one of us, and he has good things in store for all of us. But sometimes we miss out on those good things because we're too scared to take that next step, or we're too scared of what's next. And I think 2025 is going to be all about trusting God, trusting what's next, trusting his path, and just faithfully taking that next step that is showing us.
Awesome. I love that. That's really exciting. What about you, Rama?
honestly, for 2025, believe it or not, I'm looking forward for a washing machine for Bayside Kidsmen.
A washing machine?
I want a washing machine for us.
Why?
Because we have a lot of t-shirts on a Sunday to wash. And a lot of towels later to wash. So I'm very excited for a washing
Do you take
machine.
them all home?
We do. We actually do. And so,
Wow.
Yeah.
You take all that stuff home and
wash
it yourself?
it. Not myself. Well, we've got leaders rostered.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think it'd be cool to actually have one here.
There you go.
But,
Well, someone watching will probably end up donating one. Then.
oh, yes, please. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just one though.
Please. With
One
open
washing
arms.
machine.
Just one washing machine will
Next
be
thing is,
amazing.
Please stop sending washing machines.
Oh my God, 25 washing machine on Monday.
That's it.
So
So
that's,
you could
that's
say
a
you
really
know
cool
how
ministry.
to spin this story. Yeah?
Yeah, true. Great analogy, Pastor.
Yeah.
Rob. I'll steal that. Thank
Don't
you.
get agitated.
Hey,
Yeah.
whoa,
There we
hey.
Settle down now, everyone.
Oh, no, washing machine is one on the list for sure. But I'm looking forward for our trading cards because
Yeah.
I think that's going to be amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then we're coming up with something called as Space Station Sunday, where kids will walk in on a Sunday morning and it's going to look like they're in a space station, but we'll take them back in time and talk about all these biblical stories and stuff. So really excited for that. And also a sleepover as well in 2025, September. So yeah, a couple of things that I'm looking forward for in 2025. With my word, I did come in with the word, but I just changed it because,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like I will have to jump with Caleb on that. I feel like next is such a good word too
Great.
for me. Yeah, definitely.
Is Roma
Yeah.
allowed to steal your word?
Yeah, can I please
Go for it.
copyright? Yeah, I feel like next is going to be a great word for me as well. I really want to look forward and look for fresh things that God has put in our ministry here
Beautiful.
at Bayside
Very
Church. Yeah,
exciting.
definitely. Yeah.
Very
Easy.
cool.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Emma Day.
Yay. I'm looking forward to this year. Like I said at the beginning, my word being anticipating, I'm so here for it. I'm here for 2025. It's an interesting thing to think about all of the things that we've got happening, prayer, events, new people, all of those things. And it really boils down to, I guess, the engagement part. So that's the thing that I'm going to be focused on in a work sense for this year. But in a personal sense, last year, my words were eyes to see. And I actually don't feel like, for me personally, that God's actually taken the throttle off that. So I actually am holding on to my words, eyes to see, for 2025 as well. It's probably changed slightly because just before the end of the year, we did a fivefold ministry gifts. You preached on that last year, and
Ephesians 4.
there was something on it for me. Like my top one was prophecy, and I've known that I guess, worked in that space, but I feel like this year I really want to explore that deeper and actually pursue the gift that God has put on my life, because I see it in different areas, and particularly in worship this year. For me, that's the space that I want to explore deeper in terms of the prophetic in worship and how that looks for our church. We've been talking a lot about it with the worship team leaders and Carlos being the creative director and stuff. We've talked about it quite a lot, and I'm so excited for what God will do in those spaces where we're actually exploring who God's made us.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Love that.
So, eyes to see again.
Eyes to see
2025.
2.0. I love that. That's really cool. And I love our worship team, like the whole church, with a beautiful sense of unity.
Yeah.
And good things all come from that. You guys have just shared so well, and I'm so inspired by what each of you have brought to this. And I hope you are as well. And before we finish up, just a couple of things I want to let you know. Next Sunday, we're back in person. Surrender Sunday. We get to lay hands on everyone. We're going to celebrate communion. So we're going to worship together, celebrate communion together, and then the rest of the service, we're going to invite people to come forward, be anointed. I have been told that we have spray bottles.
I think.
Is that correct?
I think they're spray bottles. I think they're rollers.
Oh, rollers.
I think they're rollers.
Okay.
So they've got, it's like those perfume rollers.
Yeah.
With anointing oil. So
Anointing.
It's,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you guys draw a cross on your head?
We could do that if you want.
Right.
You could
Yeah.
cross. Yeah. Yeah.
It will be less messy at least.
It will be, won't it? I thought it was. Because I was going to
we
say.
do have some spray bottles. I'm pretty sure though the ones that we've got to use.
Right, because I was thinking like next weekend, let us spray would be a real
Right.
theme.
I love
Like,
roll doesn't come roll off the
No,
tongue
we
as
just
well,
be on a
does it?
roll. So that's instead. So that's next Sunday. So in person, it's better to come in person if you are able to, but otherwise join us online for Surrender Sunday. And before we go, I just want to highlight our offering. You can see the ways to give on the screen at the moment and through the website. There's a donate button at the top right-hand corner, and also through the Tithely app. You download the Tithely app and select Bayside Church in Melbourne. And I just want to thank you for your ongoing, regular, faithful giving of your tithes and offerings to support your church. And I want to share the scriptures with you as we wrap up today. And this is one of my favourite stories in the Gospels. This is Mary anointing Jesus with oil. And in Luke's version, it says, a woman who lived a sinful life learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house. So she came there with an alabaster jar of perfume. As she stood behind him at his feet weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears. And then she wiped them with her hair, kissed them, and poured perfume on them. And the whole room would have been filled with this incredible fragrance, but there were some horrible stinking attitudes in the room as well.
yeah.
So the Pharisee, Simon, he had a stinking attitude about Mary. And then, of course, Judas, he was ticked because he was the one that John tells us that said, why wasn't this sold and the money given to the poor? And then John adds, not that he cared about the poor, but he was a thief. He was pinching money from the bag, right? So, excuse me, his words sounded good, but weren't really. The thing is that Luke talks about this woman, Mary, as having lived a sinful life. And the likelihood is that she had lived by prostitution. And so the money that she had earned had bought this alabaster jar, which Luke tells us was worth a year's wages. So it was about 300 denarii in the first century. But you think about a year's wages in Australia. So the average wage in Australia at the moment is about 80,000 if you're working full time. All right. Some people obviously earn more than that. Other people earn less than that. But the average is about 80K. So say this woman took perfume worth $80,000 and broke it over Jesus. That's the modern day equivalent of that.
Crazy.
The other thing is that because she was a sinful woman who had lived that way, that was her superannuation policy.
Yeah.
She'd worked, saved, bought that, and then when she could work no longer, she would sell the jar and that would be what she would live on. So she would live for the rest of her life on a year's wages. So she would have still been in poverty.
Right.
But it just shows the beauty of the act
Yeah.
of worship, of her bringing her entire future and breaking it on Jesus. So moved was she by the way Jesus impacted her world.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to leave us with that thought. As we give to Jesus through his body, through your local church, we're taking a certain amount of our past and we're also taking a certain amount of our future and we're breaking it on Jesus. And it is a beautiful act of worship and a beautiful act of trust. And so God bless you as you give. Amazing. And thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion with Caleb and Rayma and Emma and myself.
Yeah.
It's been so good,
Been
you
great.
guys.
Amazing.
Yeah, you brought a lot of great stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Here we go, 2025.
I know, right? It's going to be good. We'll see you next Sunday, if not before. God bless you.